The human brain is an infinitely complex tool that scientists have been studying for hundreds of years, and they have barely scratched the surface. Psychology tries to explain the brain to some extent, but the explanations we get are not always the ones we want to hear. What you're about to learn is going to put a lot of things into perspective. So, when you're done with the video, let us know what blew your mind the most. And don't forget to support our videos by dropping a like and subscribing to the channel. It's not always good to have a plan B. According to a series of experiments conducted by the University of Pennsylvania, it was found that people who start doing something by preparing a backup plan actually do worse than those who never even considered a plan B. The study also found that people who had more than one option lacked the motivation to succeed the first time, relying on their fallback. However, researchers who conducted the study said that thinking ahead is a good idea, but people should keep their plans vague. Fear can feel good. There are a few theories as to why some people really love to watch horror movies. The main theory explains that your hormones play a huge part in that. Whether you're watching a horror movie or trying to find your way through a new haunted house, your body will be flushed with adrenaline, endorphins, and dopamine. This is your body's fight-or-flight response, which is a perfectly normal reaction because your brain can tell whether you're in real danger or not. And since you're not in real danger, you get a natural high, which is why people love watching horror movies. Yawning helps us bond. When was the last time you saw someone yawn? And did you yawn along? Several theories explain why yawning is contagious, but one of the more interesting ones says that yawning shows empathy. For example, children who haven't learned empathy are less likely to catch a yawn, whereas older people who have developed a sense of empathy will most likely yawn, unwillingly bonding with a person. You easily forget the middles. Before we explain what this means, pause the video and try to remember a story that means something to you. Done? Great. What were the most memorable moments of your story? Was it the beginning and the end? A study published in Frontiers of Human Neuroscience showed that when people are trying to recall something, they usually leave out the middle of the story. That's why when you're studying, you almost always remember the beginning and the end of a lesson, but you have to put extra effort into memorizing the middle. Do you remember the middle of your story? Let us know in the comment section. The 5-to-1 ratio. Studies show that it takes 5 positive things to outweigh just 1 negative thing. Scientists refer to this as the negativity bias because we usually remember more negative things than positive ones. This is why you quickly forget when someone compliments you, but you can't stop thinking about the look that random lady in the street gave you. In order to feel balanced, you need at least 5 positive things to happen to outweigh that 1 negative thing that keeps bugging you. The sandwich theory. Doesn't the sandwich someone else makes for you taste way better than the one you make for yourself? It does, doesn't it? Well, there's a simple explanation behind that. A study published in the Science Journal showed that making a meal for yourself significantly decreases the excitement by the time you get to eat it. This explains why food tastes better when you get to dig in right away instead of putting effort into making it. The rule of reciprocity. Whenever someone does something for you, you often feel obligated to return the favor. Isn't that strange? Well, not exactly. Science refers to this as the rule of reciprocity, which suggests that humans are kind of programmed to want to return the favor. It's believed that this desire probably developed as humanity evolved, and it serves the purpose of keeping society working smoothly. People need to help each other out. However, there's also a reversed rule of reciprocity, in which stores give you something for free and your brain makes you buy something in return. Strange, but reasonable, isn't it? Squeezing the adorable things. We all remember that scene from Despicable Me when little Agnes grabs the unicorn and says, "It's so fluffy, I'm gonna die!" This particular feeling is called cuteness aggression, and it's not a negative thing at all. According to research published in Frontiers of Behavioral Neuroscience, when people get that feeling, they are overwhelmed by positive emotions. Now, this doesn't mean that they want to crush something because it's super cute. The aggression is just a way their body is trying to balance out the high caused by their emotions. Your brain makes monotonous speeches interesting. Hearing voices in your head when you read things aloud is a sign of good health. Researchers from the University of Glasgow found that our brains like to talk while we listen to something boring. So, the next time you find yourself listening to someone giving you a monotonous speech or lecture, you'll realize that your brain is talking over their voice, trying to make it sound more interesting. Second guessing is in our nature. If you thought your second guessing was a bad thing, then you need to think twice about that. Pun intended. A 1950s experiment showed that second-guessing is in our nature, but depends on the environment you're in. During the experiment, students were shown 3 lines and asked to determine which one matched a 4th line in length. However, only one student was part of the experiment, while the rest were actors whose goal was to change the student's opinion. While in an experiment with another person, a student would be positive on the matching lines and no one could change their opinion. However, when exposed to several people claiming the wrong line is matching the length of the 4th line, students would eventually start second-guessing their decision and side with the group. Are you that good at multitasking? When you're multitasking at work, you're proud of being able to juggle several things at once. However, research published in the Journal of Experimental Psychology showed that when you think that you're multitasking, you're actually switching from one task to another. This means that you're focusing on a single task at a time, not multitasking both. It also explains why posting on social media and listening to your partner talk about the future of your relationship do not go well together. We are all true believers. Humans tend to firmly believe in things that are not true, regardless of facts stating otherwise. This is called confirmation bias, meaning we always explain things to ourselves in ways that confirm what we already know and believe. It also means that no matter how hard you try to persuade your grandparents that their political views should be changed, they will find countless reasons to explain and reaffirm their beliefs. That's just one of those things you can't really change. Your brain makes you lazy. Evolution has trained our brain that conserving energy is beneficial for our bodies. And although this was true thousands of years ago when food was scarce, in comparison nowadays there's plenty of food and we don't have to work that hard to get it. A study published in Current Biology found that our brain intentionally tries to make us lazy. For example, when walking on a treadmill, people unconsciously adjust their pace to conserve energy and burn fewer calories. That might very well be the reason why you're not losing weight as quickly as you thought you would. Or you could just blame the junk food you had the day before. Loneliness is bad for you. Several studies have confirmed that being lonely is bad for your health. Studies also showed that the fewer friends you have, the higher the level of the blood-clotting protein fibrinogen. The effect of loneliness can be so strong that having 15 instead of 25 friends can be just as bad for your health as smoking. So, the next time you find yourself lonely, try to think about your health. Social media is designed to be addictive. This one is straightforward. When you take your phone out of your pocket to see what's new on Instagram, you probably spend much more time than you want. The reason that happens is the curse of the infinite scroll. Social media are designed in a way to make your time spent using them as effortless as possible. This means that unless you trained your brain to fight procrastination, it will never warn you that you're spending too much time on social media. So, did you know any of these facts? Let us know in the comments below, and make sure to subscribe to the channel.
We'll show you everything worth knowing